Should I keep training during my bicep injury or should I rest? The biggest mistake that not just fighters, but people tend to make when picking up an injury in training is going down the route of saying, I'm going to start to rest until that injury begins to heal. Now that might be just resting from their sport completely, or it might even be resting from their strength and conditioning. So if you've got a bicep injury, it might be that you're going off to see a physio to get some advice and support on that bicep. But the important thing to remember is you've still got a lot of other limbs and there's still a lot of your body that you don't need to adapt any training around. So really those times when you get injured and the times where you're probably then not able to do your sport training quite as much as you normally would are actually the times you probably want to amp up your strength and conditioning a little bit. Now there's really good research into something called the cross-education effect that shows if you train the opposing limb, you are actually going to maintain or at least minimize the drop off in strength and power and hypertrophy in that injured limb. So it's really important when you pick up an injury, whether it be to your leg, your arm, both legs, both arms, whatever it might be, to continue to try and train as much as possible during that time, as close to the normal amount you would. Because one, it's just going to try and help maintain your current physical status. But then the other thing is when you start to try and integrate back into your training after the injury, your body's still got a high tolerance of training. Whereas if you just rest and recover, when you then start to try and get back into all the hours of sport that you might normally do, it's going to be a really high spike in your training load. And your body's going to have to deal with that as a completely separate issue to the injury.